They don't know they're billionaires. They have no idea what the middle class does, what the lower class does to survive. These poor, powerless, low-class people who make very little money, who are going to lose their Medicaid, are going to be in terrible straits. And it's all because of him.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio,
Tumwa, Iowa.
Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
My friend and I formed a group called the Good Trouble Group after the famous Joe Louis Senator, the late great Joe. And we are trying to do our most to try to help what's going on in this country right now. We're against it. We're standing up against it. We want democracy. We want to save our democracy. We need no kings here. When we left and became a country in America, we left kings to come to America. We have a constitution that has lasted just fine for 2.5 centuries. To throw that away like Trump is doing is absolutely unacceptable. This country will not go out without a fight. Trump is a pig. Musk is a pig. I'm going to lose my job. I work for the federal government. I'll be out here at the end of June. What Bernie is doing at the age of 83 is amazing. Mr. Sanders, Senator Sanders, the man from Vermont, you are loved across the world, my friend. He is so strong, and he's still fighting for us, and we love him. And we drove here from Pittsburgh to say, we love you, Bernie. We feel the burn. We feel the burn he's been doing all the way across the country. And he is a man of principle, as is AOC, as is my new favorite, Jasmine Crockett. She tells it like it is. So does our Bernie. Bless your hearts. Let's keep the fight going. Thank you.
I appreciate all that. I would just ask, I'm so sorry to hear that you have been swept up in these layoffs. Can you tell us a little bit more about your job and what's happening? Because I think working people want to be able to put a face to all of these things.
Made a mess of our government system, and how a man who's not even a U.S. citizen can buy an election and go in and be appointed the head of Doge. I would say bad Doge. And I would say knock it off. We're doing just fine. If there's corruption out there here and there, find it. End it. But don't fire all these civil servants that have been working for a very long time to support our American people. So he is just gutting the IRS. He's gutting the Department of Education. He is gutting so many different things. The National Institute of Health. So all.
And which department did you work for, if you don't mind my asking?
Department of Treasury. And he's slowly been eradicating us. And it's terrible. You go into work every day and you wonder, will today be the day he's going to fire me? Is tomorrow going to be the day? Is the next day? He calls it getting forked, going to the fork in the road. So it's the big joke at our agency. Did you get forked today? Have you been forked in the middle of the road? It is indecent. It is awful what he did to us. Civil servants who believe in our jobs and have been working hard are being treated just in an awful, awful way.
Absolutely. And I guess I would ask two questions. One, I'd be curious how long you've been at your job before all of this. And also, we're talking with a lot of other people about the struggle that working people are going through right now. And it's going to get worse. And to also have this kind of, as you described so eloquently, like having this kind of cloud over your head about whether or not you're going to get forked that day. I mean, if people are already struggling, adding that to it, I don't see how that's bettering the lives of working people.
They don't know they're billionaires. They have no idea what the middle class does, what the lower class does to survive. These poor, powerless, low-class people who make very little money, who are going to lose their Medicaid, are going to be in terrible straits. And it's all because of him. Bernie would feed everybody. He would make sure every kid has a school lunch. He would make sure that we treat people with humanity. That's who he is. That's who he stands for. But so much of this country is uneducated, and they think socialism is this terrible thing. It's not. It's humanity. It's people taking care of each other. Trump will never do that, ever, for this country. So.
No, he's busy taking care of himself and his cronies.
Yes. I appreciate that you guys are out getting visibility and getting, people to speak out, because we all need to get into some good trouble, my friend.
I'm a big fan of Bernie. Would vote for him if I ever got a chance in the Pennsylvania primary. Still have my 16 button. And I just believe he should be president.
And why do you think that? What about Bernie attracts you so much? You're a longtime supporter. Why have you stuck with him for so long?
He's got my position on almost every issue. Okay, whether it's ending genocide worldwide, or marijuana, or social justice. Yeah, he's got it all. And I'm a libertarian from way back. Back in 1972, for a libertarian organization, I testified in favor of legalizing marijuana at the Republican convention in Miami.
And do you feel like, you say that you have been part of like a libertarian movement. Do you feel like the current swath of like Republican-leaning libertarians represent your, I want to say, desire for freedom, to have freedom to do the things that you want to do?
It's hard to say, okay, because I've had no contact with libertarians in a very long time.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess part of the reason that we are all out here has to do a lot with how working people feel that they are struggling in this moment. They're struggling now under Trump, and I think a lot of people felt like they were struggling under Biden. They felt like they were struggling under Trump before. They felt like they were struggling under Obama. How do you feel about the state of the country as far as being just a working person trying to get through your daily life?
It's a long story, okay, but the country is structured now to favor the wealthy at the expense of everyone else, and also to gaslight people that this is the only way it can be.
Absolutely. What would you like to see our representatives doing? What would you like to see Bernie doing going forward? What would you like to see our progressive representatives doing going forward?
Representing the people, okay, not big business. It's that simple.
How do you feel about everything right now? How have you felt prior to even Trump coming in? Because I think working people have expressed their struggle and have expressed it for longer than Trump has actually been in office.
I think it's important for me to acknowledge my privilege in that I do have a good paying job. And a lot of people around here don't. I know that most of the people I know that live around here are really struggling, and now, especially with today's removal of the de minimis exceptions for imports, people can't afford the meager clothing they were getting from sites like Shein and Temu, and so I think people are going to suffer greatly around here very soon, and so you're going to see a lot more support for people like Bernie or AOC in the coming months.
Absolutely. And are you kind of worried about, it sounds like we are staring down a recession now, and as you said, tariffs have not brought the immediate prosperity that Trump and co. told their supporters and the rest of us that they were going to bring. So how do you feel, not just like in this moment, but going forward? What do you think things are going to look like for, the next few months, next couple of years?
I think that a lot of people are going to suffer, and it's going to get bad for a lot of people. Unfortunately, I'm concerned that media literacy is going to keep them from knowing who to properly blame. And that's one of the bigger issues. I mean, we've seen things like Trump blaming the current stock market on Biden, and he said he'll do the same for Q2. And I really worry that a lot of the people who are getting hurt by Trump's policies are going to see a situation where they say, well, the government's going to screw me anyway, at least it's screwing other people too. And that's not great.
Absolutely. And, to kind of yes and you, I'm sure you saw the tweet, the post on Truth Social that he put out blaming Biden for the stock market, and basically just said, be patient. Everyone who is suffering right now, all working people who feel like they are struggling and can't make ends meet, just be patient. You'll go through some short-term gain for some long-term gain. And as you're kind of indicating, I don't know that working people are able to do that. Billionaires can. They can wait it out, but I don't know that the rest of us are going to be able to.
I think that part of it is that regardless of individual policies like tariffs or no tariffs or extremely high tariffs or free trade, I think the American people can weather a lot of that. And the biggest problem right now is the uncertainty, because if if people knew that tariffs were going to be a consistent thing, then maybe companies would try to onshore manufacturing, things like that. But when they're on today and off tomorrow, no one's going to try to do anything, and people are just going to move manufacturing and service away from the U.S.
Absolutely, yeah. You can't have even a concept of a plan if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And these are big things that we're talking about, moving factories back to the U.S. and outfitting factories with technology that they didn't even have previously, because there are a lot of things that now have never been made here. So I think that, just to, again, yes, and your point, it's going to take a lot. And if you have uncertainty about whether or not they're going to stick, you're not going to invest in that. And I would ask, we're talking a lot about working people and how people are going to fare and just the kind of moment that we're living in. Do you think that the Democrats are doing enough in this moment to fight against this, to stand up for working people and make sure that we all, are able to make a life for ourselves?
I think that the establishment Democrats are very comfortable with the status quo, and so long as them and their wealthy donors continue to profit, I don't think they'll do anything to prevent this. I mean, you see people like Chuck Schumer, obviously, is almost willing to do nothing, and then yesterday put out that thing about, oh no, a $20 car tax, hell no, when everything else is going on. You just have people like Cory Booker who are maybe doing a little bit more performatively, but the policy isn't substantive, and so there's nothing there. So do I think that the Democrats are going to do anything? No, I don't. I think that people like Senator Sanders, people like Representative Ocasio-Cortez, they stand a better chance, and I hope to see the left-wing arm of the party flourish more, because the 2024 strategy of, well, how do we beat the Republicans? We'll be diet Republicans. That doesn't work.
Absolutely. And I guess I would ask if you have anything else that you would want to share with viewers of Status Coup on the state of things, how you're feeling, anything at all.
Yeah, the thing that I do want to say is that even if companies do onshore manufacturing, Howard Lutnick admitted it in the interview a couple weeks ago, which is that even if manufacturing does come back here, it's going to be robots doing it. It's not going to be people. There's no benefit for anyone out of any of this. Even the rich people, look at Elon Musk is failing right now from all this. I think the thing to keep in mind is that we see people like Trump, we see people like Rubio, we see people like Musk, but you have to watch for the people who are a little bit more under the radar, like Stephen Miller, who I think is the real danger right now. And I think that people need to acknowledge that he's likely the quote-unquote real president, the shadow president, whatever you want to call it. And it's worth noting that whenever people said that about Bannon last time, Trump immediately freaked out and fired him, so maybe we'll see that happen.